Hi there, I'm here to show you my two brand new stoves. This one is an alcohol radiant cook stove, and this one here is a wood radiant cook stove. And we're going to have a little competition to see which one burns best, but they're a little different. Like I said, this one is full wood, so we're going to go ahead and put some wood in there and get going with that. But this one also has some lava rock in the top of it, so it's going to radiate even more. So let's go ahead and get them going. This one here is alcohol powered, so I have denatured alcohol in this can with perlite. So that's going to go in there. And this one is going to have wood, and I have a little opening hole here that I can put the wood in. Oops, let me put a nice little starter there. And we're going to put some wood, not too much. And let's see, I'm going to get the fire starter going there. Hopefully that'll burn the wood. And over here, and that's already going. Alrighty, let's move that over here. Hopefully we won't need any more fire. And I got my little poker right here. And I'm going to turn that around. Now these both are on legs to be elevated, so I could use them pretty much anywhere. Okay, so we're going to get these going to see which one burns hottest. And on one, we're going to boil water for my tea. And on the other one, we're going to cook a great snack. Look at that, how hot it's getting already. So which one do you think is going to get hotter? The denatured alcohol or the wood once it kicks in there? So you saw it burning at the beginning of the video. This one here uses perlite. I can't take it too much because I just put the flame out about 3-4 minutes ago. Very easy to do. You just take the canister and slide it right on top of the perlite and it goes out. You smother the flame. So anyways, this takes different fuel. If you want, you can take some, what is this stuff? Crisco. Put it in a tuna can, make your little wicks like you would with any Crisco candle and slip that in there. Or you can use one of those tuna cans that have the cardboard wrapped around in a coil with paraffin wax. That will work in here. So there's a lot of different options, any kind of fuel. Now the perlite does burn the hottest. Matter of fact, I can still feel the heat. The bottom of the can is cooled off, but you can see it has the lava rock on the top. I only have about maybe an inch and a half of lava rock, but that's what was putting off the over 700 degrees, where the regular stove is a little over 500. Okay, this gets very hot. So if you didn't want to do it this way, you can take, I can take that out. Okay, that's just perlite to be able to absorb or to hold in some of the denatured alcohol. I don't like it splashing around. So another option that you can do is you can actually make the door a little bit higher and burn wood. Make this a wood stove for outdoors. Now remember, any kind of stove with a flame puts off carbon monoxide. So you're going to want to have a carbon monoxide detector if you're using this in a garage or a greenhouse or a duck shack or a fishing shack. Use it to heat things up if you want, but it is a temporary power outage solution. This is a stove that should be used outside, and even then you don't want to breathe in carbon monoxide. It's yucky stuff. So make sure you have all your things you need, your detectors and your alarms and your fire blankets, like we always say, to be safe. So let's go ahead and show you how this one here was made. What I have here on the top is lava rock, and they are still hot, so I'm going to go ahead and dump them in this cup right here. Okay, so there's my lava rock. You can see there wasn't an awful lot of them there. Let me move this over here. And I have a screen that I made. This is just a piece of stainless steel screen I cut out of, I was using this in one of those big squares. Matter of fact, I have it right here. I had made one of these sifters last year to be able to sift dirt. You can see I've been using the wire ever since. Okay, so I cut that out of there, and I cut it pretty much the shape of the top of this. That's not hard to cut, by the way. You can cut that with decent scissors. And in the top of it, I took some of these things. I got these at Walmart. Okay, and they're skewers. I think they're for barbecues and things like that. I got them in the barbecue grill section. Comes with like 4 of them for, I think it was like $1.50. And they're pretty easy to cut. What I did is I stuck them in the hole so they went in one side like this, come out the other side, and then I just cut it so it doesn't stick out too much. And what I did, look at the lattice work I did in there. Can you see? So I got 2 going in, 3 going in this way, 1 here, 1 there, and 1 here. And then going this way down, I put 2, and I wove them in like I'm weaving a basket seat there out of, what do they call those things? Out of reeds or something, okay? So you can see that really good here. There. So that is just so I can take this part and just stick it in so it sits like that. See that? And I can put my, those are finally cooled off, these right on top. And they're going to sit up there. Okay, so what else am I going to have? I'm going to take that screen out so I can show you below it. I'm going to take the screen out. There we go. And inside this hole, I cut a hole with my Dremel tool and just basically connected these holes and cut them so I had nice round edges. Okay, and the hole is just large enough for me to fit this can inside. But you don't put it in right away. Why? Because on the bottom, I put legs. These are I believe 2 or 3 inch. I'm not sure how long they are. Let me go ahead and check so I can tell you the right thing. These are just mostly stuff that I had hanging around the shop. These are 2-inch carriage bolts. And what I did was, I put on the bottom, I put a washer and a bolt, and it went as far as it could go. And then on the inside, I don't know if you can see inside, I put another washer and a bolt on the inside. So anyways, you can adjust that and make sure you tighten them. This one here is a little bit loose. That's probably that's the one that was sticking up. There we go. And it's easy to put in because look at the holes on the bottom that are already there on these cans. And what I did is I put one in each corner, okay? One in each corner to give it some nice stability. So that's not going anywhere, okay? So that's what I did there. But the problem is when you look inside, you see you got the nubby sticking up. So if I just put this in there, it's going to flop all over. So what I did was I took a large cover and put that in there. So now when I put in my denatured alcohol, it sits and it doesn't wobble between the bolts, all right? And it also gives a little bit more ventilation, like a false floor, and you have another 2 inches underneath there. So when I have it down on the ground, even at 700 degrees, I'm not burning anything. And besides, this turntable is also made out of metal. So that's pretty much how I made that one. Woohoo! Now, if I wanted to make one out of wood, what I would do is, I'm going to go ahead and make one that can show you when it's done because there's a lot of cutting and stuff. So I would do the same thing, but my doorway is going to be a little higher, probably starting over here and going up, and probably a little smaller. It just needs to be long enough for me to throw in twigs. I could throw in my fire starter first and throw in some twigs and get that fire going. But if you got a fire going and your door's all the way down here, it's gonna fall out, okay? So that one is still gonna have legs on the bottom. I'm gonna have probably some kind of bent metal like this sitting on the bottom to give it a little bit more airflow, okay? And then I'm gonna make the hole to put the wood in, and on top, I'm gonna leave it open. This way, the flames can really go and I can cook on top of that. So this would be strictly an outdoor stove. You can use it for your tent if you're gonna hold it at the opening of the tent so the smoke can go out. Okay, so there's really no chimney, no ventilation on this thing. But both of them are made pretty much the same way, and it gives you a choice of any kind of fuel you want. So let me go ahead and work on this one because it'll show you a lot of the steps of how I did this one as well. Let me move some of this out of the way. And the first step I need to do is I need to go get my Dremel tool. And next step, Dunkin' Donuts coffee. Okay, let's take this tag off and let's figure out where we're going to want to make the hole on this. I had initially tried it with this one, but the hole was too low. So I want to have this high enough. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I'm probably going to go 4 high. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll probably make the hole going right around here. And let's see. I'm going to have to go right across here. I don't want it as big as this one because I don't have to put anything in there. So let's... What I'm doing now is just drawing out where I want to make the holes. I just changed my mind to how big I'm going to make it. Let's see. So that's pretty much how I'm going to make it. So once I cut that out, I should be able to put my legs on, put the bottom in, get the wood going, and we're all set. So let me move some of this stuff out of the way, and let's get a cutting. This is going to be loud, so you might want to block your ears. You know, I'm going to try this a different way. I'm actually going to use the actual Dremel tool instead of the long wire. And just to see how this will work any better. Very short cord though. Let's see, here we go. And there we go. You know what I think I'm going to try doing? Rather than cutting it all the way around, what I'm thinking of doing is actually bending it out here. Giving myself a little bit of a lip at the bottom. So when I'm putting wood in, it's not going to fall all the way out. In fact, I could probably even make it like a little door where I could close it up so I have less wood falling out. Just as a safety feature, we'll see how that goes. If it gets in the way, I could always cut it off later. So, this is what I did there. That should give me enough room to toss twigs in there. There we go, look at that. And hopefully it won't come out like that just did. And the next step is to get legs on this thing. So I got my bolts and I got my washers. So, to do this, what I want to do is, like I said, on the bottom, I'm going to put on one washer, and actually the bolt should go on first, and take the bolts and put them all the way on as far as they go. All 4 of them. So there are monotonous parts, but it's still fun to do. Seeing the end result of these, I love making these emergency stoves. It just shows you the ingenuity of the things you can come up with. And they make great experiments. They make great experiments. I love seeing what other people do too. I'll watch other people and see what kind of different things they come up with, and look at the same stove with different creators, and then say, I wonder if it'll work if I did this. So then I try my own twist on it, and that's usually how you come up with some pretty cool things. So we're going to start, we're going to start in the corner by putting one there, and then I put a bolt in the middle, or I should say a washer. Now you want to get a washer on the inside of both the bottom and the top. I did the other one, this one here a little earlier, and I didn't have it on the bottom, so I had to go ahead and take these apart. Whoops. We got a problem here. The perlite, I had it leaning over, and the perlite poured right out. Luckily, we had burnt out most of the fuel already, so I got to put that over here so I don't lose that. Now I got perlite all over my desk. The stuff is kind of messy. Okay, I'm going to put one of these. Get one of these. So I got one in. There's two. Again, make sure you have a washer on both sides. So I know from looking at the comments I've been getting, I've had a lot of people so far making my stoves, and I'd like to hear what kind of variations you've made with it, because I know if you're like me, you went to make the stove and you said, oh, this will work better. I've been hearing some pretty neat ideas and thoughts from people that I want to try in different variations later. So if you have already made one of my stoves and had success with it, let me know. If you made one of my stoves and didn't have success with it, I don't want to hear it. No, let me know. And also, most importantly, if you have some ideas of maybe stoves that you've thought of and you don't know if it would work, run them by me. If it's a really good idea and I think it'll work, maybe I'll try it. I am always looking for new ideas. With all the stoves I've been making, every couple of days it seems like I'm making a different one. I got a feeling I'm eventually going to run out. So if you have any great ideas, let me know. And I'll tell people it was your idea. And who knows, maybe we could have a stove named after you. There we go. There's the 4 legs. Isn't that cool? Looks like one of those water towers, you know. Petticoat Junction. Anybody here remember watching Petticoat Junction? An old show, but what I liked about at the beginning of it, there was a picture of this tower, a big water tower, and that's where the whole town got their water. And if you remember, Zsa Zsa Gabor was one of the main characters. So we have that, we have this, and all I'm going to do is in the bottom, I'm probably going to put something so that all the wood ash doesn't fall out. So I'm going to get one of the biggest probably covers I have. Here's one that's already dirty, already used. And I'll put that one in the bottom, which is why I want to put something like this on top of that, so when I put the wood in, you see how I got it bending up and down? So when I put the wood in, there's going to be a little bit of oxygen underneath the wood. Okay, I want to go ahead and try this bad boy out, but I can't do it over here. I have to do it outdoors, so I'm going to have to go upstairs on my deck. That's right, I'm a real urban farmer. Everything, even in the summertime when you see my garden, I'm going to have hundreds of plants. Usually I have sometimes even more. All my different growing systems on the deck. That's why I grow on the porch, on the deck, and in the house. So let's go ahead and do that, and I will see you up there. Now I left the door on here so I could kind of push it up if I need to later. Also just so it doesn't fall out as much. So we're going to see, we're going to get them both going. And let's see, I brought myself a little tea kettle. And by the way, the one with the denatured alcohol, I could pull that right out and put one of these little tuna cans with the cardboard and the wax inside. That would work too. It would burn slower and lower, but just so you know, that is an option. We're going to put this here, oops, and we're going to get some water here. And we're dealing with fire, so always make sure you have your fire spray or something to be able to put it out if there's a problem. Now I need enough for the tea. Yeah, that should be enough, right? Mm-hmm. Woohoo! And I want to back up a little bit. They're going now. Let's see.
Mine turned out so you see the side. Kind of a cool side to that one.
So we're going to go ahead and show you the front of both of them so you can see the flames. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Don't you just love fire? So let's go ahead and put the water here. And on the other one, oh, we have Jiffy Pop popcorn. How do we open this? Tear to open. Right there. Wow, this could have been a great fire starter too. Oops, I just ripped open the Jiffy Pop by accident. Oh no.
That's okay. It'll still pop.
So what's going to go first? The boiling? We don't need a timer because you're watching it in real time. Okay. And I don't know how hot this is going to get. So.
It's good to have those gloves around, right? Even if you're camping and stuff.
These are great gloves to have, yes. Whoops, look at that. So which one's burning hotter so far? Oh, it looks like the wood has taken over. And that's not even halfway full. Can you hear that? Sizzling. The beauty about doing this out here, besides the fire extinguisher, we have snow. Oh, I can't keep it on the heat, keep on getting my fingers. You know, I might just swap them over. Okay. Can you hear that water boiling?
Yeah, I was gonna say the water's boiling.
Oh, look at that, my gloves have melted in the back. Not from this time, from another accident we had a little while ago. Time for new gloves. And again, if you need to use these outside, it's a very great, a very good camp stove because they're so hot. Let's go ahead and test this. Okay, this one here is at 615 degrees on the side. And this one here is at 478. But you know, the rocks, 725, 600. So it's extremely hot. I think I might have burnt the popcorn, I don't know. Whew. Yeah, this goes up to 700 and then hits H1, meaning hot. So they're both between 650 and 700 degrees. That's about as hot as my thing will read. Wonder why it's not.
You gotta let it pop. You gotta let it heat up, and then it'll start popping, and then you shake. You just gotta let it sit for a bit.
How's the wood doing there? Should we put in a couple more pieces?
Yeah. I bet you should have this when you were a Boy Scout.
Sizzling.
Did you do this in Boy Scouts or?
Yeah, this is something we did in Boy Scouts. Jiffy Pop was around way back then. And this one here is along the lines of one of the stoves that we used to make back in Boy Scouts called the hobo stove. And we actually opened it up from the bottom, and we used to take a long newspaper, roll it all up, and kind of feed it in and burn it that way. Not even having wood, we just did newspapers. Let's see how this is.
Whoa, that looks hot.
Yeah, it's hot, but I want to get a really hard boil. I'm trying to give the popcorn even time. Can you see in the front of there the perlite going?
Yep, the perlite's going, everything's going. You
Now
just,
the perlite
yeah.
basically holds denatured alcohol. Denatured alcohol is about 99% pure. I mean, it's probably the cleanest type fuel you have. Right now, that brown burning is coming off inside here. And but these are designed for emergency use only. You use them in to heat up a garage real quick or a greenhouse. Great camp stove, great outdoors. Just like this here. I mean, What is it outside right now? We're looking right behind you. There's a thermometer. What is it? 32 degrees.
Well, yeah, but the sun is beating on it. But today
Yeah,
it's supposed
go
to
ahead
be.
and show them that we have a thermometer that's been out here. So it's 32 degrees. It actually was like minus 10 overnight. So it was pretty cool. But 32 degrees, and I could feel, matter of fact, I can feel that heat. It's just very, very warm. So it's like having a campfire. You know, I think we might have burnt this and it just isn't working.
No, no, no. Let it sit, because I could see the steam coming out of it.
Well, let's go ahead and
Yeah.
do it the other way. Give it a little bit more juice. Now I just have little twigs, so if you did this on your own, you can actually go ahead and put quite a bit of thicker pieces in there if you wanted. And that's why I left that tray there. Keep going. And there she goes. I think the problem with the popcorn, it has to get really hot, and I had torn it open before. So it's already busted open a little bit. Look at that magic. Isn't that cool?
Now you shake it. Now you shake
Yep.
it.
I want to see how the water's pretty much boiling. Woohoo! This is what I call camping by the fire. So
There it
the
goes.
competition is doing great. That's boiling, but not a real roaring boil. I'm going to pull it off the heat a little bit. Yeah, it's actually on fire.
It would be kind of fun to do this camping, huh?
Yeah, it pops a lot better on a stove, but
Yeah, but for example, on emergency, if you're hungry,
now that's not me. It's not
yeah,
a fire truck. That's an ambulance going by.
they're not coming for us.
You know, I'm afraid to continue with this because I think it's all burning.
He's pretty much popped, honey.
Yeah.
He's
It's still,
popped.
it's still got a lot more pop. They usually get really big, but
Yeah.
I want to see how it looks in there. Ho ho.
Here's your lunch. I'm out of making lunch. That's your lunch,
Yeah, you can
right?
see it's starting to burn, but there's the Jiffy Pop. And over here, we're going to move this over there. And I have my tea bag already in there. Look how hot that is.
Nice
Whoa.
and hot.
Woohoo! And we're going to put that back on. Yeah. Don't need to put that. I don't want to. I'll put that in the snow. There we go. So there you have it, folks. I think they both went about the same. The beauty of it, though, you can smell the burn. The beauty of it, though, is that the one with the wood, shouldn't do that, you can just keep on feeding it. And if you want to do that with the denatured alcohol, you need to wait for it to go out. Guys, want to try some? You can't touch that. Oh, I was talking about the camera. Raluki, you can have some. So, don't cry. So if you folks would like to have some popcorn, she took the whole thing. You're going to have to come over here and film me next time. And let's see how. Whoa, that's hot. Okay.
These are really
That
delicious.
was beyond boiling. I'm forgetting about doing the video. I just want to eat the popcorn. So,
Yeah,
folks,
good.
that's what we have. Two different kind of stoves, and even though the perlite is going down, those rocks are still pretty hot. 560, 650, 680. So the rocks are still very hot, even though where the perlite is down to about 210. That's kind of going down. And of course the wood, 560, 580 on the outside there. Oops, and over 700 in there because it went off again. So there you have it. Tea, popcorn, nice warm fire, great company. What can be better? So if you have any suggestions on how we can improve this, maybe something I could put on the top, some kind of a grill to maybe cook smaller things, but this will pretty much take a frying pan, or this is, see, I need to make something that can maybe, like a grill that can go across. Ooh, that's not a bad idea, just to hold it so it doesn't fall in. But great for cooking, great for camping. If you have any suggestions, let me know. And oh, something really important, folks, I forgot. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do it right now. I might send you some popcorn if you do, but if you don't, you won't get any. And with that, thanks you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye now. Bring that popcorn over there. Come on.
I bet you they have this on Amazon. People were asking where to get this popcorn. This popcorn, I bet you they have it on Amazon.
Oh, Galloping Gourmet has nothing on me.